Okay, this projectile problem is kind of an interesting problem. A projectile has an initial speed of 98 meters per second. How high does it go, and when will it return to the ground? Well, how high does it go is kind of easy because they give you the formula and they give you the 98 meters per second. So we could just solve that problem putting in the 98 meters per second and figure out the height. So let's see what happens when we do that. So height equals 98t minus 4.9t squared. Well, at first that looked easy, but then I still have two unknowns. I have the h and I have the t. So if we're talking a projectile, I want to draw a little picture. So let's say this is the ground. So a projectile goes up to some height, reaches the maximum, and then it goes back down to the ground. So I need to find the time. Well, I don't know that height at the maximum right yet, but I do know the height here. What's the height here when I start? It's 0. And what's the height here when I end? It's 0 again. So I could find use that piece of information. It starts at 0 and it ends at 0 for the height here. So now I have a problem that only has one unknown in it. And maybe if I solve that, it will give me a clue as to finding how high does the whole projectile go. So I know its height is 0 at the beginning, and I know its height is 0 at the end. So I'm going to solve for the times when I have a 0 height. Well, the first one is kind of a no-brainer. I have a 0 height at 0 time right before I start. But then, what's the time when we get to 0 again? So I can solve this problem. And I'm going to move everything over here to the side where the 0 is, so my t squared is positive. So I'm going to rewrite this as 4.9t squared minus 98t equals 0. Now I'm going to factor, I could factor a t out of both. Let's factor 4.9t out of both parts of that. When I do that, I get a t here, and 4.9 happens to go into 98 20 times. So t minus 20 equals 0. So now I can finish solving this by going 4.9t equals 0 and t minus 20 equals 0. So here I get t equals 20. So this is meters per second, so that's 20 seconds. So at 20 seconds, right, I'm hitting the ground here. And then this one, 4.9t equals 0, so t equals 0. Well, I knew that one. At t equals 0, I'm at the ground. So if we use a little bit of logic here, at 0 seconds I'm at the ground, at 20 seconds I'm at the ground, what do you think the time is for me to be at the high point? 10 seconds, right. I knew you could figure that out just thinking at it logically. So I want to find the height when t is 10. I know the height when t is 0. If I put 0 in, I get a 0 height. If I put 20 in, I get a 0 height. What happens for the height when I put 10 in? So let's figure it out. So h equals 98 times 10 minus 4.9 times 10 squared. Right? So 980 minus 490, right? Pick up the little calculator and figure that out, and hopefully you get 490. So h equals 490 meters, right? Are we doing meters or feet per second? Meters per second. So this is meters. So the height at 10 seconds is 490. So from here to here is 490. And there's how to solve that problem with the pieces of information that they give you. Good luck with the rest of the homework.